According to research, our bodies replace many of their nearly 30 trillion human cells regularly. About 330 billion of those cells are replaced every day, that's about 1% of all our body's cells. Other cells, like the tiny ones in our gut, renew within a week. You might have hoped your new cells would be the key to a longer life. Unfortunately, it's a little more complicated. For example, some of our body's cells, like those in our brain, heart and eyes, are with us our entire lives. But unlike other atoms and molecules that are constantly changing, a person's DNA remains the same from the day of a cell's birth, which occurs when a parent cell divides, throughout its lifespan. When a cell divides, in other words, the DNA incorporated in the new cell includes a certain level of carbon-14 that corresponds to the level of the material in the air around us at the time. This serves as a timestamp of sorts, by which researchers can determine when the cell was created based on the level of carbon-14 in its DNA. What the researchers found is that the average age of all cells in the human body is 7 to 10 years. That doesn't mean the cells replace themselves every 7 to 10 years. At the individual level, cell renewal happens at different rates in the body. Cells in our colon, for instance, are replaced every 3 to 5 days, but our muscle and fat cells can take up to 70 years to renew. If our bodies are constantly being renewed with brand spanking new cells, why do we grow old? Shouldn't this influx of new cells be like a shot of Botox? When it comes to aging, it appears that the secret lies not in our cells but, more specifically, in the cellular DNA inside the body. How long certain cells last depends on how much work they're tasked with doing. Red blood cells, for example, have an average lifespan of about 120 days because of their arduous journey through the circulatory system carting oxygen to tissues throughout the body. Despite all this regeneration and the fact that the average age of all our cells is about 7 years, the truth is that we still get old and die because of mutations that appear in our DNA as our cells replicate over time. So if you think you're going to live forever, you will have to find the fountain of youth. Still, there are cells that never leave us and may aid the aging process, or at least the body's breakdown over time. While the eye's cornea can regenerate itself in as little as 1 day, the lens and other areas don't change. Similarly, neurons in the cerebral cortex, the brain's outside layer that governs memory, thought, language, attention and consciousness, stay with us from birth to death. Because they aren't replaced, the loss of these cells over time can cause maladies like dementia. The good news is that other areas of the brain, like the olfactory bulb that helps us smell and the hippocampus that helps us learn, can and do rejuvenate. Puma.